The MCU is falling apart right in front of our eyes, and Kevin Feige knows it. Now, the man who once helped to build the once unstoppable MCU is now watching it crumble under its own weight. Fans are walking away, the box office in free fall, and Kevin Feige is calling the MCU homework at this point. Yes, Kevin Feige, the boss, the architect, one of the architects of the entire MCU, is basically admitting that no one cares about it anymore. Now, the MCU used to be a cultural event, but now it's a punchline. And trust me, the MCU fans feel it too. Now, people are saying it's the fatigue and everything. I don't think so, but it's just that people don't care about it because the whole MCU content is garbage. I mean, if you were to see this for yourself, as Culture Crave shared this on X and everything from the Wall Street Journal and stuff, basically admitting that the fans are right that the MCU is now garbage. Where it says here, Kevin Feige reportedly told Marvel colleagues that watching every new MCU project had begun to feel more like homework than entertainment. Employees talk regularly about Marvel fatigue and worry that they've created no new fans club and where new viewers have no clue what's going on. Well, isn't that interesting? Not only now is the MCU is just boring, confusing, lifeless junk, but it's also entirely woke as well. That only makes sense if you watch like what 15 Disney Plus series and 10 previous MCU films, and even then it barely holds together. New fans, forget it. The MCU has created a no fan zone basically, and if you're not already deep in the lore, you're just lost. I mean, honestly, that's not entertainment. That's basically a chore. Now, basically, it seems like you've got to study like it's college exams and stuff just to understand what's going on, and that's basically a nightmare right there. Now, I gave these some of these Disney Plus shows a shot, and I couldn't even get through a full episode without zoning out or turning it off or fast forwarding. It's like the MCU wants you to stop caring. Every show feels like what paint by numbers template, just basically emotionless, politically forced, and obsessed with taking every diversity box instead of telling a good story. After Endgame, the MCU actually shifted into a full-blown identity politics mode, and what has gotten them? Failure after failure after failure. No amount of virtue signaling can actually cover up bad writing as well as all the insufferable characters. Okay, so under Kevin Feige, what's Marvel doing? They're crawling back to their, so-called toxic white males and stuff, trying to go ahead and salvage what's left and stuff. And suddenly, the very people they shoved out the door are being brought back in to try and save the day. But even there, they mess it up. And the guys that spent years mocking, sidelining, and replacing, now they're pretending that none of that ever happened. And it's pathetic. They forgot, how the eternal save lives, right? I mean, that's what they said. They actually lost the millions of jobs. I mean, millions of dollars. I mean, good job right there, Marvel. Now you've got Thunderbolts, and guess what? I mean, people like it. I didn't, but here's the problem. None of that matters anymore. And it's too late for Marvel as well because the fact of the matter is it's basically tainted and everything. And at this point, Thunderbolts might not is not solid at all, but no one trusts Marvel either. And trust is everything. Once people stop believing you can deliver, they simply walk away, and they already have. Now, box office numbers paint the picture clearly and stuff where the Thunderbolts is projected to open around 73 to $77 million domestically. Global projections are also between 160 and $175 million. And yes, that might sound decent until you realize that the budget was actually $180 million. Now that's not good at all. In fact, it's brutal. When you've got to make two and a half times your budget to break even, these numbers are a disaster. And it's not just Thunderbolts. Captain America, Brave New World, as you all remember, opened higher than that, and it still didn't make its money back. Now, honestly, Thunderbolts isn't even, it's not even outpacing a movie that underperformed, and that's the harsh reality that people just got to face. And while the Hollywood Reporter was spinning and the shows would pretend that this is fine, well, it's not. You see, Thunderbolts might end up in the 11th highest grossing movie of the year so far, but that says more about this the basic the sorry state of the box office than it does about Marvel's success. Now the MCU used to dominate everything, but now it's barely actually scraping the top 10. And that's a huge fall from grace. Meanwhile, the movie Sinners, a completely different movie that's not a part of the MCU, is killing it. You see, just absolutely crushing it with great box office, strong hold from week to week, and audiences are loving it, are constantly talking about it. And you think that the media would be celebrating a successful black directed, black led film, right? But they're silent, not a peep. Why? Because it wasn't marketed as an MCU style woke virtue signal, okay? It was just, a lot of people say it was a good movie with good people behind it. And when the product is actually good, people show up. Race and identity don't matter, but the media can't build their usual narrative around it. So they ignore it. And that's how fake all of this representation talk really is. And honestly, I haven't even seen Sinners and stuff. Not my cup of tea, to be honest with you, but everyone says it's good. So, yeah, the success of Sinners completely destroys this insufferable narrative that the MCU helped to push. Okay, that audiences are either racist or sexist or whatever else they can come up with to explain why no one watched movies like the Marvels. No, people just don't want trash. I mean, plain and simple. And even if Thunderbolts does pull off a better second weekend than expected, I mean, let's be honest, the damage is already done. It's trailing Captain America: Brave New World, or as some people call it, Black New World, and that movie was already a dud. Like I said earlier, you need about $450 million just to break even. Brave New World didn't even get there. Thunderbolts probably won't either. You can have solid reviews, decent word of mouth, and still fail because when the audience has given up on your brand, all the good press in the world won't even save you, okay? But even on, Rotten Tomatoes, Thunderbolts may have a 88% critic score with a 94% audience score and a 95% verified score. I mean, that sounds good, right? But question is, where are the people? Where's the turnout? You got good buzz, strong numbers, but the fans still aren't even coming. And that tells you everything you need to know. You see, the Marvel name doesn't even mean anything anymore, especially when it comes to this MCU. People don't believe it's actually worth their money or their time, okay? And I'll be honest with y'all, I did see Thunderbolts yesterday. I hated Thunderbolts. Wasn't even solid. I'm not here to just repeat the same opinions as, everyone else. I mean, if I enjoy something, I'll say it. I thought the character work was a bit nah. The story was actually weak. My expectations were in the basement already, and the movie didn't even clear that low bar and stuff. And now, would I recommend anyone to see run out and spend the money on it? Absolutely not. I mean, that's just where we're at with Marvel. Now, even if they were to have done something right with this and stuff, guess what? No one even would even care. And this whole thing reminds me of, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But even that stumbled out the gate. And why? Because the MCU's name has been dragged through the mud so many times, basically, that people just assume that everything they release is more of the same trash. I mean, it's not fair to movies like Spider-Man, No Way Home, Guardians 3 and stuff, but that's the price you pay for years of pushing an agenda instead of focusing on good storytelling, okay? Now, the MCU actually burned the trust of its fan base, and now every new project suffers it. Now, honestly, Endgame was the high point, the high point. That was the peak of the mountain. After that, the MCU made a hard turn into its woke phase and stuff, and it's been a slow motion explosion ever since. With the Marvels, Eternals, Shang-Chi, all the flops, all forgettable, all politically obsessed nonsense that completely ignored what made the MCU successful in the first place. Characters people actually cared about and stories that actually mattered. And now they're desperately backtracking. Well, at this point, honestly, it's too little too late, okay? So basically, we're now in a weird place where Marvel is um maybe making some okay movies again, but the fans just don't trust them anymore. The brand is broken, the box office is crumbling, and the only people still defending this mess are the ones who are too stubborn to admit how far it's fallen, as well as those who are absolute shills. Now, Thunderbolts basically had somewhat of a decent cast, but the audience still says no thanks. Marvel just didn't damage its reputation, it just destroyed it, okay? And that's basically the real story here, okay? Not whether, Thunderbolts is good or bad. The real story is that the MCU used to be untouchable and now it's crawling, trying to go ahead and stay relevant to, in a world that's moved on, basically. Identity politics exploded in their face. The MCU took hit after hit, and the people in charge didn't even notice or didn't even care. But now they're paying the price, and the MCU needs a full on miracle to recover. And at this point, I'm not even holding up my breath. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts of this in the comments below. If you enjoyed what was shared in this video, smash the like button and also subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notifications for future uploads. And I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.